Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter. Make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Yeah. What's going on?
What's happening?
Everything is blessed, brothers. Everything is blessed. You know what I'm saying? We had a few technical difficulties today, but we gonna make it do what it do. How y'all doing today?
Doing lovely, brother. Lovely, brother.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's blessed. Glad to hear it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get into some of these videos today because we want to talk about this week, you know, the disadvantages of not being sexually disciplined. It seems like when you look out into the industry, everybody has a weird case. You dig? Mm-hmm. And what's going on, James? How's everything, brother? We see you. We see you. You know, you look out into the industry, it look like everybody got a weird case. And you know, you just don't know what to make of that until you start to realize that a lot of people bring a lot of things on themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to talk about that today and get into the meat and potatoes of that and why it is what it is. Shout out to the homies Anthony Malcolm and Bobby Drake. I am Major Gage. We are Manversations 2020. Any quick shout outs or designations we want to get into before we hop into it?
Man, just shout out to everybody out there that's doing what they need to do, man, and keep your head up. Shout out next week. We have a super dope guest. You guys are gonna love it. You're gonna like him. Super dope brother. Got him from off of Pop the Balloons or Find Love. So definitely gonna have him on here. Looking forward to that. So just to keep y'all updated and abreast for what's going on next week. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
That's what's up. Stay tuned for that 5, man. We coming with it. Bobby Drake, what's good, man?
Real quick, I want to shout out some really, really dope brothers that hail from the state of Virginia. They went ahead and they did exactly what the hell they supposed to do.
Clips.
And dropped some heat.
Clips.
This past Friday. I'm talking about the brother Gene and Terrence. Mr. Malice or No Malice, excuse me, Pusha T, That Hell Hath No Fear. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not finished banging that album, but woo, that's one of those tracks. That's one of those albums you gotta take your time with. You don't rush through it. You don't rush there, and you just sit back and just unwind, just let it play, and just let it do what it's supposed to do. Big ups to them. Also, big ups to the brother Javon, dropped a fire R&B album also as well. Some good music coming through the headphones this week, this month. So if you ain't on it, please do get up on it.
That's what's up. I heard great things about that album also, bro. I heard it's fire, like fire.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely fire because it's the album that broke the camel's back as far as pushing me back into the realms of getting back to doing what I need to do as far as tackling on my project that I wanted to. I stopped because hip hop, it wasn't inspiring. So I was like, you know, it don't even make no sense to do the album or the project if hip hop isn't inspirational like that. But I've seen a lot of people coming around, but that Clips album, man, I was listening to it in the car, brought me back to 1996. I was like, yeah, this is the album that's going to get me to complete these projects.
I started looking for my Jabot jeans and my and my Averex shirt to go put on for the first day of school. Like, oh wait, no, that's not now.
Academics, you know what I'm saying? Averex, Academics, Echo.
Yeah,
back in them days. Yeah, I remember that.
Good old
days. All right. Let's get to it, man. We got a lot to cover tonight, bro. Oh my God. It's looking crazy out here as always, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
Wild West,
you know, the thing that stands out to me the most is when we start talking about this. I'm gonna go with this first, right? Because, you know, first things first, right? Cardi B deleting all IG photos of Stefon Diggs. To all intents and purposes, what that's saying to us is that predictably, Stefon Diggs has dumped Cardi B. You understand what I'm saying? And that just brings a few things to mind, man. I start thinking back and reminiscing, and it just brings a couple things to mind. Remember, not too long ago, Cardi B was, you know, going through something with Offset, and she was kind of out there, and she was trying to kind of stick it in Offset's face that she had this new man, and it was such a big upgrade and whatnot. And then I thought about this, the last thing that we heard about, Cardi B and Offset when they were together. Cardi B confirms affair with another man while pregnant. Remember, he accused her of having sex with another dude while the baby was still inside her, and she responded and did. Remember that? Mm-hmm. That guy was Stephon Diggs, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, again, you know, I just kind of backtrack, and I'm the kind of person I like to look at what's going on. And when you look into that character who was supposedly such an upgrade, the first thing I thought about was, you know, I remember this guy, a woman said that she attacked him, right? Mm-hmm. A woman said that he attacked her, right? That's the guy that she supposedly upgraded from Offset. And I just thought that was very interesting because I thought that, you know, they had this sisterhood and it was believe all women and, you know, protect the women's and all this. That's what I thought. You understand? And then I thought back a little more. I did a lot of thinking. And I remember this same guy had another weird case where this other cat, this man, said that he drugged him and tried to have sex with him. You know, and it just got a little crazy. And again, the dangers of lacking sexual discipline. We're going to get into some more of the things that are kind of out of whack and how it gets crazy, but in a very simple, you know, round the way ass type of analysis. Lacking sexual discipline will just have you out here looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like on some real stuff. It'll just have you out here looking stupid because Cardi B looks ridiculous right now. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like all of this was avoidable. You know, she has, you know, this tendency to present herself as this loose and just kind of sexually free person who just don't care about nothing. She carries herself any old kind of way. And guys kind of treat her that way. You know, just broadly speaking, or men view her that way, I should say. The only one that's ever really actually claimed her in the industry is Offset. And Offset was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Nah, another dude comes along, he's like, nah, I'm good. You feel me? And so like your failure, your lack of sexual discipline has you looking crazy out here. His lack of sexual discipline, you know, he got people saying that, you know, he assaulted them, men at that. You know, there's a woman out here saying that he physically assaulted her. And you saw this as someone that was fit to go and involve yourself with. So I don't know, man. It looks kind of crazy. She looking kind of crazy out here to me. What y'all saying?
Yeah. When it comes down to Stephon Diggs, dude has a lot going on. He's a person that is very toxic. If you know his background, his background of his childhood and things like that, dude been through some shit, and he hasn't gotten that therapy and things like that. And then you take the aspect of him being a football player, CTE, and all this other bullshit going on. And that atmosphere alone makes him be violent because it's in their nature to play that way. So when you hear the attack from behind, you know, sometimes this guy gets into a space where it's hard for him to separate reality from thinking that he's on the field, tackling somebody or attacking from behind. Normally you do that on a football field. So when you look at everything that goes on with Cardi B and Offset, you see the choices that she makes. You start to realize, like, everybody wants to claim Cardi B as a victim, but looking at her choices, this lady loves toxicity. And just like how he doesn't exude sexual discipline, he actually is very loose with it. Cardi B is actually loose with it. Let's not forget that Cardi B was tying niggas up, getting drugged and raped. You know, that type of behavior is on some fucked up shit. So it aligns with what Stephon Diggs got going on as well. So that whole trauma bonding that I keep talking about, how you trauma bond with people, that's how you attach to people. And it's crazy because she didn't let him go. He let her go. And his reason that he said that he let her go was that her BBL had a smell to it. And that's another thing that
they say that's a rumor. They say that's a rumor.
It can't be a rumor. It can't be a rumor because you know why? I'm gonna tell you why it's not a rumor. Because you have people, there's nurses that's coming on. I'm not sure if I put that in the chat where I ran across a video, but there's a nurse that said that she's been doing the BBL massages because there are licensed professionals that do that. And she was saying that a lot of these women, because they go around to different people and their money ain't right to get it done right, they're having holes open. And not only that, not only if they're not getting it right, even if they are getting it right, a lot of these women don't know how to take care of themselves. True. She said they're not changing the bandage, they're not putting on and doing the proper care that they need to take it on. So when you don't do that, it's going to have an odor. And a lot of these women that's running around with BBLs, you're hearing people talk about it's an odor. And they are trying to silence it because people don't want that thing to go out there because there's so many women with BBLs. Now it's going to be a stigma on them and people are going to run the opposite direction when they hear that you got a BBL for that same reason. So when you start seeing things like that and you start seeing how these people are lined up, and always remember, and I'll land my plane with this, always remember, as much as you hate Kevin Samuels, and I know a lot of y'all hate Kevin Samuels, but brother been speaking some truth to power that will help you out. When that man told women, listen, you are only going to get the height of your baby daddy. Stephon Diggs is the height of Offset. No matter how the fuck you look at it, they're two peas in the same pod. And I'll land my plane on that.
All facts. Bobby Drake.
Let me go hop on this ATV one time. Look, there are no victims. There are no victims. None. There are only willing participants.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I don't know what it's going to take. This is universal. Dudes will sit back and laugh and, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. That's what's going on with Cardinal B. That's what. Okay, it goes for you too, Chucklehead. So don't laugh too hard. Them three fingers might be pointing you square in your face too. Water finds its own level.
Sure do.
I know the dream because we have a whole bunch of self-centered, egomaniacal, narcissistic people running rampant, like some 28 days later outbreak. I know that's the case, so I know this is going to really shatter a lot of people's egos and their dreams and fantasies. But contrary to popular belief, it's a lot more difficult to pull the finesse move and get more than you deserve than you think it is. We live in a very transactional era where the mindset isn't, let's negotiate, let's come to the table, let's find a way how everyone can walk away satisfied. No one feels ripped off, or no one feels like they're left holding the bag. Everyone feels like they got value from this negotiation. We don't live in that era. We live in an era where a lot of people think my objective is to go to the table and I'm trying to run off with the bag. I'm trying to get absolutely as much as I can get for as least as I can give. That's the mindset. So a lot of people, your Cardi B's are thinking, you know what? I'm a piece of hot trash. I'm a piece of flaming doo-doo. Despite that, I'm not going to keep it fair in a buck and try to look for my fellow turd on fire. Nah, I'm going to go see if I can get some 24 karat solid gold or some platinum if I can. I'm going to see if I can get me some Bitcoin. That's what I'm going to try and get. And a lot of people have this image that, well, I can be as garbage as I want to be, and I can go ahead and pull manna from the sky because I keep telling myself that I'm the best and I'm an amazing, and I'm going to manifest it and set my intentions on it and all the other nonsense and BS. You tell yourself that, but unfortunately, there's this damn little problematic thing called reality.
Yeah.
And it's just like every time the Scooby-Doo villain gets busted in this, and I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and that puppet. The meddling kids and the puppy are called reality.
Right.
And that's why so many of you all think that I'm going to come out on the other side all grins. Then you find out, no, it failed. Why? Because you're trash. And so the outcome, the partner, what you're looking for was also trash. Nothing is wrong. Things are actually working the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Because thank God you didn't get someone that was actually better for you to drag them down and torture them and make their lives hell. Thank God that didn't work out. So when Cardi B goes from an Offset to a Stephon Diggs, and he dogs her out just as bad, if not worse than Offset, that's not the system broken. That's not something wrong in the force. There's no disturbance in the force. This is called justice, and this is good. So for all the dysfunctional Cardi B robots out there that think that this is a tragedy, boo-hoo, go cry in the car. For everybody else halfway functional, this should be both an encouraging moment to remind us that justice is still a thing in the world, that good people still get what come in their way and bad people still get what's coming their way. This should also serve as a moment to try and go ahead and make sure that we're doing the right thing so that way we don't end up getting the results that a Cardi B is getting. Let me go get some more gas real quick in this ATV. It's hard times nowadays.
It's pretty simple at the end of the day, right? You would think. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to check this out, man, because that, it just don't stop, man. It just don't stop. Everybody, I'm telling you, everybody got a weird case.
Stallion is being sued by a former cameraman who accuses her of harassment and a hostile work environment.
The cameraman, Emilio Garcia, says he was trapped inside a moving vehicle with the rapper in a foreign country while she had sex with a woman right next to him. A lot of crazy allegations in this lawsuit, including Garcia saying that Meg Thee Stallion told him, quote, "Don't you ever discuss what you saw." What else is he claiming?
So in this lawsuit, he says that he endured emotional distress and that his job was affected and that eventually he didn't have a job anymore with Megan Thee Stallion after this alleged night that took place in June of 2022 in Ibiza. Like you said, he says that he was in this car, he had been working for Megan Thee Stallion for a few years as a cameraman, and that he witnessed Megan Thee Stallion allegedly taking part in a sex act with another woman, and that the next day Megan Thee Stallion allegedly said, "Did you see what happened? Don't ever speak of that again." And he says that she allegedly fat shamed him and berated him and docked his pay out of nowhere, and he says his life just became, a nightmare. And so now he is suing.
So I'm just saying, bro. Everybody got a weird case. Everybody. And I'm at the point now where it's like, man, I feel like it's almost to the point where sex tapes are like mixtapes. You know how everybody used to have a mixtape? Like everybody got a sex tape now. And my question is this, the title of the show, The Dangers of Lacking Sexual Discipline. This is allegedly, it hasn't been proved just yet, but they say he got receipts and he has a credible case. People are saying that. If this is true, simply put, you couldn't control yourself long enough to wait till you got back to the room, or you just wanted to do it for the thrill or whatever the case may be. Look what that got you. You know what I'm saying? Look what that got you. Look at what your lack of sexual discipline got you. Look at what the degenerate behavior that Hollywood exhibits just overall. Look at the fruit that is bearing. You understand what I'm saying? Look at this, man. Everybody got a weird case, and this one was totally preventable. This guy was gay. The guy who she allegedly had sex in front of, and he's saying that it was harassment, not only because, this is what's very interesting, not only because she's doing this and it's all in front of him and it's nasty and she's forcing him to watch this, but because he's gay, he don't even like heterosexual sex. So in a way, in a very strange and weird way, this is yet another gay person attacking straight sex. Sex is sex. If we said something like that, oh, we're homophobic. You understand what I'm saying? I can see it right now. The headlines everywhere. But he was harassed because two straight people were having sex. Not only because they were having sex, but because they were straight and they were having sex and he's gay. That part of the complaint sounds like bullshit. But the rest of it, it's like, damn, girl. I mean, every time you look up Meg Thee Stallion, goofy ass is in some other bullshit. She's a drunk, apparently, allegedly. She can't hold her liquor for nothing. She goes out, gets drunk, acts stupid, does something stupid, that's career damaging potentially. Like that night where she got into the fight with her assistant over Tory Lanez, allegedly. And then now there's this, and there are other instances that I've heard of her mistreating people who work for her as well, kind of like Lizzo. She has a track record that's kind of like that. So again, when are people gonna learn some damn sexual discipline? This is creepy and weird at some point. It's like, damn, you can't calm your loins long enough to get your goofy ass back to the damn hotel room and do something like a civilized person would do it. You have to do some degenerate shit in front of other people. It's ridiculous, bro, especially when you've been in trouble before. That you're an icon of sorts, not to me, but to people generally speaking, they consider her like a big deal. You got a lot to lose. What is the problem with people? Why can't people control their urges? What y'all got, man? I got nothing.
Yeah, with Megan Thee Stallion, you're looking at somebody who has been dysfunctional for the longest. I mean, even growing up, the dysfunction behind that. Signing contracts, just wanting to be famous. She played the victim on that. She knew she signed the contract. She knew it was a janky contract. Went out there and said they wouldn't let her get out of the contract. Cried about it. Played victim. Got the whole country to get behind her to make it seem like she was a victim of a contract that goes out to all types of people. Even some of the artists that we loved growing up signed some bullshit ass deals back then, but she felt entitled to get a different contract because she wanted to make money. She was going under the influence. She talked about her I want to say addiction to alcohol. She stated that it became a problem. She talked about how it became a problem in her life and how she went about it. Things like that. The whole Tory Lanez thing that you talked about, I had got the inside information on what the real deal is. We all know what the real deal is. We can read between the lines. We don't have to say allegedly. We know what went down that night. And the reports are coming out. People seeing things. The other bodyguard at that moment. And I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, some kind of witness that was on the scene talking about scratches on the legs of an altercation between another woman. So, trying to avoid and keep all of this stuff behind the scenes and it's coming out, it goes back to the saying that what's done in the dark will come to light. And a lot of her shit that's being done in the dark is coming to light because people always say money makes a bigger image of who you really are. If you are somebody who steals and you end up getting money, you're just going to become a bigger thief. That's just what it is. It highlights who you are as a person. And now we're starting to see who Megan Thee Stallion really is, as much as she's trying to hide it. So, when it comes down to degenerate behavior and these people are on the top of the list, it doesn't shock anybody, because if you look at the quality type of people they are, then you already know the degenerate runs not too far from the tree. So people like her, and others that are out there doing that. And then one of the biggest factors that I always talk about is the propaganda of people out here promoting sexuality so frequently through music, through television. That's the agenda that they want out here. They want us to be sexually active and just being sporadic with our genitals like that. Because when you do that, it creates chaos, and also society is going to be dysfunctional. So we got to understand why it's important for you to have sexual discipline. And I land my plane on that.
All facts. Bobby Drake.
You have to watch out for people who, even if they themselves are not, all sexually promiscuous and overly sexual. Everything is about their genitals, and they can only see and relate to the world from the perspective of their crotch. Even if they themselves aren't that way, you have to watch out for the people that promote that. And if anything, I would say that those people are worse than the ones that do that, because at least you're about that action. You're really all in behind this. You really live this way. You really embrace this way of being. You as a person that aren't like that, that don't do that yourself, but will go ahead and set other people up. You'll go ahead and build the stage, so to speak. You'll create the role for other people to go ahead and do that. That's foul as hell. Because you sit back on the outskirts like, oh, wow, look at them over there. That's ridiculous. Knowing good and damn well, you helped make that possible. You will lead other people into the pool, but you won't go get in there yourself. Well, why not? Why you not getting high of your own supply? What's up with that? Because you know better. You'll sit back there and just look all clean and pristine and let other people get messy for you. Got other people doing your dirty work. That's foul as hell. Megan, however, she goes and she sets the stage and she partakes of it. And you have to watch out for people like that, because Megan has shown that typically people that engage in these behaviors are not very high on the integrity spectrum. Now, some people may say that's arguable and debatable, okay. But here we have an individual that has shown that they're both. We saw how she, before we knew anything about her, when she was still this up-and-coming artist from Texas that had a cult following down there, when she was still going as Tina Snow and everything else, we saw how she dealt with that, I don't want to say 5150, but that entertainment label down there, that small independent label. And, you know, people can say what they want to say about the contract. Based on all reports, it may not have been a contract I was looking out for her as an artist, but these 360 deals, unfortunately, for the longest time have been an industry standard. Not saying it's good or a bad thing, but their brother Carl with his label didn't sign her up for a deal that she would have signed with anybody else. Epic Records is known for giving these. Epic Records gives out 360 deals. Interscope gives out 360 deals. Def Jam gives out 360 deals. There's no label out there that's making it a policy of, hey, you know what? We're not going to do this. No, this is the cost of doing business. Does it suck? Yes. But there was no exploitation that he was doing and this label towards her that wasn't going anywhere else. That's an important thing to keep in mind, because the whole smear campaign is that, oh, he's trying to screw her over. He's trying to take advantage of her. No, all your favorite artists have these same deals. But we're going to set him up to look like the dummy, like he's out of order, so we can get that public backlash in your favor. The same kind of backlash they try to stir up when it comes to these cases of sexual assault that are a little less than on the level.
Yeah.
So we see how this migrates now. Well, we do this to go ahead and get our way from men when it comes to sexual assault. Let's go see if we can do the same thing in contract negotiations. First sign of lack of integrity. Then we go and see how the whole thing went down with her and Tory Lanez, where there's more mud in the water about her integrity and being truthful and being accurate. There's a whole bunch of evidence that doesn't add up on the level. So we see that this is a history of her showing that her character is flimsy at best.
She a lying sack of shit. Facts.
And then we see that goes with the whole concept of I'm only accountable to myself. I do whatever I want. I want to do whatever makes me happy. And if I'm unhappy, I don't have to honor agreements. I don't have to honor arrangements. All I need is the whim and the urge to do something different. And that's supposed to be the standard. Damn my signature. Damn my John or my Jane Hancock. That don't matter. When you see these people, you need to make sure you go the other direction and do like they do in the good neighborhoods when you see the riffraff come. Make sure your windows are rolled up. Make sure the car doors are locked. The child locks are on, all that. What I'm concerned with now is, unfortunately, for those who aren't aware, it would appear as though the Golden State Warrior legend, now a member of the Mavericks, Mr. Klay Thompson, has decided to get into a relationship with her. And all I can do is shake my head, because it's like, damn, brother, you did so well for yourself.
Some niggas just don't get it.
Legendary Hall of Fame career, part of one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. They're going to be singing that franchise's praises easily for the next 2 or 3 decades before anyone even comes and tries to unsettle or shake what they've done. You're basically in the last years of your career, and you decide you want to close your twilight of your profession out being a goofy. Why, brother? Why? You almost got out the game clean. Why would you do it? But
yeah.
All the best. Let's hope that implodes before any damage is done, because all I can say is we just saw what happened with Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
Okay. Best predictor of the future is the past. But as I said before, remember, there are no victims. There are only willing.
Can't say that there are, man.
Don't be surprised if I got to come back to that line several more times during the show. At that point, I'm just be like, sing along, kids, if you know the words. But
yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, it's crazy. Let me go ahead and bring this video up real quick. I keep getting this call. I might have an emergency, so I'm gonna have to take that. But let me go ahead and put this video up. All right. I want y'all to check this out and give your 2 cents on this. We want to be inclusive here, so yeah.
I'm in Hollywood. Yeah, eat your cereal, kids.
This is Dan Schneider, the producer behind hit Nickelodeon shows like The Amanda Show, iCarly, and Zoey 101, to name just a few. The kids' TV show powerhouse was subject to numerous investigations of abuse, sexual misconduct, and inappropriate behavior while overseeing these shows, and was finally let go from Nickelodeon in 2018. Now, a 2-part docuseries investigating Schneider's alleged abuse, titled Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV, is premiering on Investigation Discovery on March 17th.
It was a toxic environment.
It's a house of horrors. I've been waiting 17 years for today.
To some, it felt as if Schneider's behavior was an open secret. Alexa Nicholas, who starred in Zoey 101, began making allegations against Schneider and, by proxy, Nickelodeon, starting in 2018. Nicholas maintains the network knew about Schneider's behavior and did nothing.
I remember Dan Schneider like at every single wardrobe fitting for me.
Oh my God.
To the point where he would sit in the chair and I would come out and I would do a spin, and then he would look at the wardrobe artist and say, "Can I have the Polaroids?"
As allegations continued, the sexual undertones of some clips Schneider had produced or written have come under scrutiny. For example, it was common for actors like Ariana Grande to be put in compromising or suggestive positions, showing their feet or even putting them in their mouths or saying things that could be seen as suggestive.
I'm soaking wet!
Schneider denies any allegations, and a representative from Nickelodeon told Insider that the child actors' guardians were always on set, and each episode was reviewed by their standards and practices team.
So yeah, in the spirit of being inclusive, you know what I'm saying, I want to make sure that I add Mr. Dan Schneider in, because he'd been had a weird case for a minute, and nobody seemed to have done anything or thought that they should do anything. And I mean, to this day, there's been no formal filing, no punishment. All they did, they fired him from Nickelodeon. They gave him a check before he left there too. And so, you kind of scratch your head and you kind of wonder, well, what's so special about this guy? I mean, but you got to ask the question out loud, because people don't talk about it. And, I normally don't talk about, white guys or whatever, because some people don't even know who the hell Dan Schneider is. A lot of black folks. We tend to only care about other black folks. And other black folks are really the ones that are the most influential and the ones that are the most immediate threat for things like this. But I think it is also important to loop other people in, this guy in particular, for 2 reasons. One, because he is white, and the overwhelming number of perpetrators of sex crimes are white. We don't talk about that enough. We allow the media to paint this, big bad black man, that just can't hold his dick. We let the media hold that, portray that image, and we don't push back, because the overwhelming perpetrators of sex crimes are not black. So I want to talk about that first. And I also want to talk about the fact that, okay, in addition to that, he's attacking children, and no one's doing anything on a children's network. People got to understand, some of these weirdos, they put themselves around children so that they can have the access to children, not necessarily because they love children. You understand what I'm saying? And we have a few weirdos like that. We got him. We got the other guy. What's the guy from the WWE?
Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Vince McMahon. We got him. We got Vince McMahon. We got the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. I mean, they are just running amok out here, and no one is saying anything. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave them some representation today. And I touched on that a little bit because, you know, poor kids, you know, sure, they're white, whatever the case may be. I'm not a racist because I'm not bigoted because I focus on black folks. I'm not bigoted at all. You harm a child, you harm a child. Doesn't matter if they're black, white, green, or purple. And nobody's doing anything about it. And my question is, you know, what mechanisms are in place even for us to ensure that these type of people are punished and not forgotten and swept under the rug like they have been? What y'all got?
So I was looking up Snyder just a while ago, and it appears that he was married. At that time he was still married. I'm not sure if he's currently still married. It's not saying anything about him getting a divorce, but he's married to a woman that was on the set as well of Nickelodeon. So it looks like he's been doing a lot of dirty macking. I think that dirty macking is how he got his wife. And because you're a creature of habit, if you have a habit of doing that, it becomes natural. So it's kind of like subconscious flirting, right?
Yeah.
And it ends up being disrespectful because now you're married, but you still have that conscience of flirting with women on your job. And that type of dirty macking leads to basically no sexual discipline, because now you have a wife where you still want to sow your raw oats with everybody else. And you get to, it's kind of a weird way with these goofy dudes. We talked about goofy guys. He's not an attractive guy. He's a fat, oversized dude.
Fat pack of shit.
Yeah. So he's a fat, oversized dude that a lot of women wouldn't want to get with, you know?
Yeah.
So it comes in with the power trip. So now you have a power position where, you know, women are coming in that need that type of role, and you have a position where you could get rid of them, or you can put in a word to keep them on the set. So now you're in a position where you can say little things and they might or might not say something, because if they need that job, then they're not going to push the issue. And if you're saying something so casually it sounds like you're joking, you can also play it off as, oh, I was just joking about it, and not something serious. But then some women, they are promiscuous like that too, and they do kind of have sex with men with power to move themselves up the ladder. That is a reality with a lot of women. So because there's a mix of women that do and don't do it, now you end up thinking that every woman is aligned like that, and you say that to the wrong woman, you're going to get your ass in some trouble. And his ass been getting in trouble for some time now. And I think we can all understand why there's not a national news behind that. Remember, this same thing played out with what's the guy that was the producer who got in jail?
Weinstein.
Right? So when we look at Weinstein got a fat check. He didn't go through the muck and the mud like they did Bill Cosby. He got the preferential white treatment, and he's done worse, because he was doing that to actresses that we look up to now, and he was doing that to black and white actresses.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, they start taking things back from 30, 40 years ago as if it was relevant to today. Now, I'm not making a case of what you done 30 years ago to be right because, oh, it was done back then, so you should sweep it under the rug. No, what I'm just saying, all of this is not exuding sexual discipline that ends up catching back to you, whether it's in the past or the current. But what I'm seeing is that instead of us punishing people that are doing this based on their ethnic codes, Now you're playing the racism part where you're slapping them whites on the wrist and giving them the option to cash out without any type of consequences behind that. But with the black folks like Bill Cosby, you railroad them and try to suck them dry. And I'll land my plane on that.
Facts. And I just want to make sure I put it in there too, because you were talking about, you know, the different type of women, and you know, he not messing, you know, he's acting a way around women because he's used to being able to act that way around women. I want to just make sure I add in there though. These are not even women. These are little girls. And he's sitting in bathtubs with them. He's hugged up on them. I can see him right there in the little clip that he did. He kissed one of them kids on the face, the boy. He's kissing the little boy. You know what I'm saying? He's hugged up on these girls. He's sitting in bathtubs with girls. You know, what are you doing, man? Like, it's glaringly obvious. And nobody's doing nothing. At a very minimum, they need to sue the dog shit out of damn Nickelodeon, bro. It's open. It's an open and shut case if somebody would just file it.
And you got to remember, a lot of these goofy people, these people that don't attract sexual attention, this is where the gender fluid people come in at. These are the people that just fuck anything because they haven't been fucking at all. So anything that comes across, they ready to stick their stuff in it, you know. So
weirdo.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bobby. Get him.
You know, I actually have to. I haven't made time to go and actually watch that documentary, probably because I think it's going to upset me a lot. Because I want to. It's been on the hit list, but something always comes up, and I think that's a subconscious block. I'm going to have to get around that at some point. But a lot of it goes back to what you said in the beginning, Major, of how even though we understand that there's a monopoly as far as who's committing these crimes, it's not been put out there. You have to understand that there are narratives that must be maintained in order for certain images to fit. There's a context, there's a story that is always running. There's a conversation that's always out there in society, in the world. And the powers that be, who also happen to be members of this group, they are very, very invested in keeping the conversation from going a certain way. I'll tell you right now, if you want the best possible way to really keep your mind centered and really focused on what matters, it's worth it every Friday to go ahead, and his channel's worth it anyways, but Professor Black Truth has this long-running segment that he has on Fridays where he calls the Friday Crime Report.
Yeah.
Where he goes in, he chooses a news story, and Lord knows there's an abundance. I mean, he probably just puts on a blindfold and just throws a dart or eeny, meeny, miny, moes and just picks one at random. But he goes and he covers a significant news story, one that is definitely worthy of national attention, that doesn't get the national attention. And when you listen to the details about the story, you're like, well, why wouldn't that be on CNN or MSNBC, Fox? Why wouldn't this be why wouldn't this be the conversation, the subject of the day? Well, it's because it usually involves people that look like the front of my hand, this section, committing the heinous atrocities.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I don't know if he's going to cover this one or if he already has, but my dudes just shared a story where you have this little girl. She's doing, I believe, the eulogy for her parents, for her mother and her stepfather's funeral. And she's up here giving some flowery words, boo-hoo tears, crying. You know, she sounds, you know, it's like a wonderful, loving daughter. She's going to miss her parents so much.
Yeah.
Come to find out, this heifer's the one that killed him.
Come to find out what?
This heifer's the one that killed the parents.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And you think, man, this should be running the news cycles. If they're not covering Tangerine and what he's doing, this should be all the news cycles.
Damn.
Not a beep. If you're on social media, you ain't gonna hear about it. Because there's no vested interest in this. Now, you know, God forbid if 15, 16-year-old Anthony were to go pick up the biscuit, or Major Gaines would decide to go ahead and put on some camo paint do his best Rambo impression with a Bowie knife on this, folks. Oh, you wouldn't be able to get that off the TV for the next 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
They find a way to loop that in the B-roll.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it doesn't fit the narrative, so they're not going to put that out there. This whole epidemic of Hollyweird being Hollyweird, this has been public knowledge for a minute now. This really got the doors busted off the hinges back in 2014 when you had, what's her name? Amy J. Berg, shout out to her, when she dropped that notorious documentary, An Open Secret, which went in and discussed all the accusations teenagers were making about being sexually abused in the film industry. And,
Yeah.
you know, the film got all kind of rave reviews. They're like, you know, this is groundbreaking, this is eye-opening, but it got swallowed up. There was no conversation about it anywhere. You had to go in underground circles to hear the documentary even being brought up. And everyone was like, well, this is clearly because the people don't want this to go out there. They don't want to get exposed. Corey Feldman, God bless his soul, he's been crying for the longest, trying to get people to, you know, pay attention to what happened to him. He's been very open. He's been very brave.
He was in that clip.
Yeah, he's been very brave about his circumstances and situations.
Mm.
We're dealing with this, and the people just brush him off, dismiss him. There's another documentary that dropped recently in 2020, My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, where he's discussing what happened to himself and another friend and co-star of his, Corey, Corey Haim, and the film was dropped 10 years on the anniversary of his death, and it was believed that the other Corey took his life because he couldn't deal with the trauma of being sexually assaulted. And in this film, not only did it explore their friendship together, but Feldman actually went bold and he named names. He pointed to Charlie Sheen, Marty Weiss, John Grissom, Alfie Hoffman, and others that sexually assaulted him and Haim. And no accent. Charlie Sheen is still out here living his best life.
Ain't that something?
But again, but you got your little Robert Sylvester Kellys, you got your Bill Cosbys, you get your Diddy's, and you know the water is muddy on a couple of them. Kelly been dead to rights forever. Diddy been a scumbag, but somehow now we have allowed the media to shape the narrative and make Black men,
yeah,
the ones who often are the least powerful in these Hollyweird circles.
There's a whole media circus around them.
Don't even make up a considerable number of the ones committing these sexual atrocities. Somehow the minority, for once, has become the blueprint. So we can't get representation anywhere else. We got to fight for that. But when it comes to sexual assault and all the negative stuff, we'll put Black men front and center on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here you go.
They got a space for you, and they're gonna make the shit more salacious than it really is.
Oh, if the
this
fire
shit is wild,
they gotta bring out fuel to put on the fire. So we have to be mindful and understand these things, and we have to also understand how this isn't just an attack against us, because we could definitely own the market. But when you look at victims like Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, and all these others, they're also victims too, and unfortunately, they're being denied justice. Strange enough, not because of their race the way we are, they're being denied justice because they're being used as acceptable white sacrifices, where they're saying, you know what, yeah, you're victimized, but we're not going to bring us down just to go ahead and get you your day in court. So
the psychology is deep.
All the way around, these are not victimless crimes. There are many victims of all shades and stripes, but there's one common enemy that's involved in all of it. So.
Facts. All right, well said. What's up, man?
You said something about Corey Feldman. Let's not forget Corey Feldman is the reason why Michael Jackson did not get railroaded by that hit piece, because he was the one that was out here being very vocal, telling people when they were trying to use him to say that Michael Jackson had raped him or abused him, and he said no. Matter of fact, he went back and deflected to the white people that victimized him, and y'all ain't do nothing about that.
Nobody said nothing.
Yeah, and let's not forget that.
And they've
part
also had it out for him for that for the longest time, because again, not gonna beat the point too much, but for those who were unaware or forgot, a lot of money, forget everybody else, a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer money, which is jacked up, went into trying to go ahead and scuttle Michael Jackson. That man survived not one, but 2 federal investigations.
It's crazy.
That's a lot of money. They got people sitting on the house, bugging his calls.
Yeah.
They're scouring his records. They're following him nonstop. If you know how these investigations work, this isn't a little 3-week or 5-week thing. This is years long.
Year long, yeah.
And he went through 2 of them.
And he got off twice. That's crazy.
You got this white man going here that is supposed to be a key part of the program, not going along with the agenda. Oh, you know they don't like him.
R.I.P. to the great, man. R.I.P. to the great. That was a damn witch hunt. All right, so we got a little more we want to get into, y'all. We got these last 2, boy. Woo! Man. Sometimes, you got to just kind of sit back and say, whoo.
Filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over sexual harassment allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon. Dixon was in 2 of Tyler Perry's shows, The Oval and Ruthless. Let's bring in NBC's Stephen Romo, who's following this. Stephen, what more do we know about the allegations here?
Yeah, Tom, just going through those allegations in this lawsuit seeking $260 million in damages, alleging sexual harassment, assault, retaliation as well. The direct details include inappropriate touching. As you mentioned, Dixon starred in The Oval with Tyler Perry, and we got this statement from inside the complaint. Tyler Perry has been using his power and influence to molest, abuse, and sexually assault impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors who look to him for guidance and mentorship while pursuing their dreams. So you can read from that, implies there are more people who are alleging this than just Dixon. And then in January 2020, that is when Dixon accuses Perry of sexually assaulting him in his home.
So here we go again, right? You know what I'm saying? And I just want to make sure I do this because I can't talk about Tyler Perry. I would be remiss if I talked about Tyler Perry without talking about Winston Jerome.
Again. My dude, that's it! Breathtaking. You know, I remember when I sat down to write my first play. I asked Jesus, will you co-write with me? And he said yes. And I told Jesus, I want to write plays for women. What do women want to see? And Jesus said, sexy men. Since that day, I've searched the world for the sexiest black men alive. And I found them, my shirtless men. And Jesus was pleased. I didn't know religion worked like that. Then I asked Jesus, how can I further spread your message on earth? And he said, cross-dressing. And so I put on a dress and a wig, and Jesus was pleased. With that dress, that wig, and these beautiful muscular gifts from God, I have built an empire, and soon I will crush Ice Cube, and my supremacy of Black Hollywood will be complete. Ice Cube?
Hey, man!
I'm glad you added that. I'm glad you added that because
Aaron Magruder for president, dog. Let me tell you something. Listen, nobody dragged Tyler Perry like Aaron Magruder. We have to commission Aaron Magruder to drag Tyler Perry when it's time, because bro, nobody does that shit like him. He hit that nigga spot on, bruh.
Boy,
I cried when I watched that damn show. It was so damn funny.
Nobody put a foot in your ass like Aaron Magruder, boy.
Aaron Magruder is so much truth in that one little clip. You know what I'm saying? Because Tyler Perry, I talked about him before on my page, on my Facebook. Oh my God, the people wanted to come for me. Oh, he be giving job to the black peoples. How you be talking about another black man? Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about, dog? Like, yo, the whole game. This little white guy actually came out with his chest and put his lawsuit out. But people been calling Tyler Perry out for trying to booty snatch niggas. You understand? Let's talk about it, bruh. People been calling Tyler Perry out for trying to booty snatch. They've been saying he's an ass pirate. Dude, this is what it is. And like it, at the end of the day, if your sexuality is your sexuality, that's your business. But I have a serious problem when you so-called the savior of black society and you giving job to all the black peoples, and part of the conditions of that job is you having to bend over and crack open your booty hole and give up some pussy, allegedly. You understand what I'm saying? Winston Jerome, with your bitch ass. I'm just saying, like, this is wrong. People who, because I'm all for people in black society helping black people, but the casting couch is the reason that we needed our own black directors to come out and be able to assist us. And you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, they're trying to buck break you as a straight masculine man and make you do something strange for a piece of change if you want a goddamn role. Tyler Perry fucked himself over, man, with that bullshit. Because from on the streets, word on the streets is you got to give up that hole if you want this role. That's wrong. It's despicable. It's disgusting. And this is, and not to mention, you know, the vitriol that he has for straight black men that he shows every chance he gets. And, you know, dude came out and I'm seeing all types of inappropriate text messages. Dude say Tyler Perry hopped in the bed with him and started feeling them up and all this old shit. A lot of that shit, a straight man, a real brother would have slapped this shit out of Tyler Perry. I'd have whooped Tyler Perry's ass. Big as that nigga is, I'd have beat the dog shit out of Tyler Perry. He tried me like that. But, you know, like the Jamaicans say, Duppy no oofy frightened, right? Okay, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you could have said something. I'm gonna call it like I did with Cassie and all the others. You could have said something before. Why didn't you speak up before? And okay, he's saying, okay, he was afraid, whatever the case may be. It wasn't as severe as it was with Cassie because allegedly there was no sexual relationship. There was no actual relationship. There's a lot of harassment. You understand what I'm saying? In one case where he did like kind of assault him and touch him up and feel him up and stuff, but it wasn't that severe. So okay. But at any rate, it's still wrong. You know, and we need to get these little creepy, slimy bastards up out of black society. I'm not going to cape for somebody just because they black. You understand what I'm saying? You're wrong. Because that toxicity is going to bleed over into the community and it's going to affect other black people eventually. I'll park the Chevy. What y'all got, man? I could go on all day on this dude. I don't like him.
I'm glad that you. I'm glad you played that clip because I was going to talk about that. When that aired, Tyler Perry found out about it and he contacted the gentleman who did it. What's his name again?
Aaron McGruder.
Aaron McGruder, right? So he contacted Aaron and he said that Tyler Perry was pissed.
I bet.
He was really pissed about that shit. Yep. But there was nothing they could do to him because he never used his name or anything like that.
Right.
It was an association where everybody, it's kind of saying like you putting something in the room, like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why he was pissed about it.
He was spot on.
He did it so slick and he did it in a way where it could have been done without any repercussions. And I'm glad he exposed that. I've told y'all that I don't fuck with Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry has this he got this illustrious studio, supposedly a big studio that he built to get people, black people, to have. It was supposed to be another plantation built for black people to alleviate them from the horrors of Hollywood. But all it was is just another plantation that they built for him to go out here and do all of this degenerate shit and then pay the black women so that way you don't get backlash. He's using black women like how Joe Biden and a lot of white supremacist racists use black women. They align themselves around them. They do great things for them. So when they are exposed on their bullshit and all the toxicity that then they're now shielded because the black women are going to come and support and defend them. Because when Biden was out there doing his bullshit, remember, he could do no wrong, as much as he's talked about racial shit way from back in the days and all these bills that he put in to destroy black community. But he hired the first black U.S. Supreme person. He hired the black woman to be the representative or the spokesperson for the White House. So he has all these promoted, all these black women. So now they are inferior, like they are invincible to any scrutiny because they have built a wall of black women to defend them. And you got to be wary of people like that. And Tyler Perry is no different than the black slave owners that they said that they had black slave owners slaving black people, right? I mean, you're still slaving black people. You might give them a little bit more lenience than the white slave plantation, but at the end of the day, you're still slaving black people because you know if you don't slave black people, your ass is going to be the one being enslaved. So you rather be in that position of power, and you're not doing anything good with it. Tyler Perry, I'll land my plane on this. Tyler Perry has too much money, too much resources, and hasn't done shit for the black community in a prosperous way. You haven't built shit. You haven't done nothing. Only thing you can hold your head high on is the fact that you paid Cicely Tyson $1 million. Granted, that was a great thing, but nigga, that ain't that best shit you could do out here. And to also just solidify that is that a lot of people don't know the rabbit hole with Tyler Perry. He has this big ass 260 acres of land, but y'all don't know he has a supposedly part of the land for runaway children, right?
That's what I hear. That's what the streets are saying. Yeah. That's another show. But yeah, I heard that too. I wouldn't be surprised either.
Jump down the rabbit hole.
I don't know. I don't trust runaway children to the care of Tyler Perry. I'm gonna just say that. Go ahead, Bobby Drake. What you got, man?
Man, that episode, I don't actually. I know for a fact I haven't seen that episode. I've seen clips. I haven't seen it. As soon as we're done, I'm gonna go watch it and get my laugh.
You gotta watch it, bro.
Hysterical.
Oh, let's not forget. Let's not forget the one where you call it did. I love Danny Glover. Don't forget that one.
Danny Glover.
Donald Glover.
Oh yeah, that one was good too. That one was good too. He ain't dragging like Aaron Magruder, but he got him. Go ahead, Bobby.
But look, again, you have to watch out for these individuals that have. You have to watch out for the way certain people move, and we have to get off this thing where we can't recognize exploitation for what it is. You know, I like how you point out how he does he stole these little biscuits out there for people. He does something for some black women here and there and puts them in position to go ahead and serve as shields for them. This is old. We're supposed to be sophisticated enough to see through the ruse. At this point, how many movies have we seen? Some of us actually live in those neighborhoods and actually experienced this firsthand. But how many movies have we seen where you got the dope dealers and the gangbangers during Thanksgiving and Christmas passed out turkeys and hams to the neighborhood just to get everyone cool with them, and so they don't raise them too much hell because they're selling poison on the streets and blocks. This person's pushing poison on y'all. He's got your kids, your mama, your daddy strung out. His product's the reason your family's in pieces, but no, because he hands out turkeys on Thanksgiving, he passes out hams on Christmas, all of a sudden all is forgiven. We can't recognize what that is. Stop.
Come on now.
Stop it.
Come on now.
At some point, we have to recognize that, and again, it goes back to what I said before. I told you this is probably going to be a running theme. No victims, only participants. I don't like this whole narrative that has come out about not victim blaming. I don't like it. I think it's ridiculous because I believe there's some circumstances where you absolutely do need to victim blame.
I'm fucking with it. Okay.
And even with that, I think it's funny how, like with most cases, we like to pick and choose where victim blaming is okay, but we don't call it victim blame. We call it other things because we want to keep this. We want to keep this little weapon on bake. I want to be able to pull this thing out and use it when I see fit. So I can't just completely demonized like that. So I got to pick and choose how I apply it.
Right.
At some point, you have to recognize the level, there's a line in the sand. And it shifts and it varies based on circumstances. Sometimes it's thicker, sometimes it's thinner. But at some point, we need to be honest and deal in honesty and recognize that there comes a time where on one side of the line, you have the side where you are being taken advantage of, where you're being finessed and done wrong. And on the other side, you're actually playing party to your own victimization. Now, the side over here where the other person's dead wrong, they deceived you, they set a trap for you. Yeah, we need to deal with that. But we also need to deal with the part where you're also accountable, and there's a point where you recognize what the deal was, and you simply didn't get involved, or you just wanted to cry and grab the bag. That's where your Cassies come in, right? That's where your other people who are opportunistic and use these things against other people trying to get the bag, where they come in and now they want to try and flip the system. Let's get it twisted. Your predators, like your Diddy's and those, they are 100% dead to rights guilty. We can't. We're not going to change that. We're not going to erase that. They're guilty. But if you know what they're about, and you go there fully ready, willing, and able to partake to try and get as much out as you can, and then on the flip end say, "Oh, I didn't know." No.
Come on now. Facts.
A Tyler Perry might not be as well known for being that way, and I'm not 100% on board with that because Chris Rock did come out and say that, excuse me, not Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy did share recently that there have been brothers who've been discussing behind the scenes in the industry that, they don't like working with him, or they don't want to work with him again because he moves in a certain way, or the way he casts his characters, XYZ. So people talk, people chop it up in the industry.
Yeah.
But there are certain people who it's an open secret. It's not even private. Everyone knows. In fact, you can tell who's actually in the industry. You know how you have especially jargon where, if you're a tech programmer, there's certain words and languages you use. At some point, certain things become so obvious. When you say certain things, people look at you like you're stupid. You know damn well that you're making a deal with the devil when you deal with certain people. And as long as you're benefiting, it's all good. You say nothing. But the minute the party runs up or whatever, now all of a sudden it's a problem. No. Personal responsibility has to be had. And we're not going to defend these people. But if you're going to try to go ahead and finesse and use us on the back end to try and be your scapegoat, your cloud cover, nah. You dance for the devil? I'm not about to put you on the dance floor. I'm about to sit back, grab my drink, and I'm going to watch you do your best heel toe.
It is.
Don't look at me crying. Get the knees up higher. 90 degrees. Up. Dance.
Facts. There it is. I'm just saying. This is where we are. And Tyler Perry, I like Tyler Perry in concept, just not in practice. Huh?
That's the new that's the new name now. He's been rebranded. He is no longer Tyler Perry. He is converted to the nation of baby oil with Diddy. His new name is now Toilet Paper Perry.
I bet. Shit. Now, we moving right along to our next story, man. We go close it out with this one because this is important. You know what I'm saying? You gotta talk about that trending celebrity news, man. You know what I'm saying? And this one right here, this is it. This is the one everybody's talking about, man. This is the one everybody's talking about.
The man who has just sued Cassandra Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment to get what she wanted, and then she totally got up like I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that. As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me. I'm not looking to destroy Cassie. I've given Cassie more than a year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who would choose to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her.
Bruh. Everything was, the only thing that was missing was the flame coming out of his mouth. Damn. That brother cooked. And listen.
Hit the people's elbow on him.
Bruh, I'm just saying, you feel how you want to feel about it, but if we're talking about being fair and impartial, that brother is spot on. You can't get no more spot on than that. Cassie comes out here, she says she was a victim, and everybody want to hoop and holler and talk about a video where he's beating her ass, and that ain't even part of the goddamn case. But the man basically says the exact same thing that Cassie said. Actually, his is a little better. It sounds a little more convincing. He's saying, okay, he was drugged and he was coerced, and there's nothing to disprove that, like it was with Cassie. You understand what I'm saying? He's saying he was drugged, he was coerced, you know, she manipulated him. She did, you know, some specific things there that he talked about. I'm not going to get into. But the point of the matter is, wrong is wrong. And I get tired of these bird-ass women coming out here with these damn, you know, they talking out of two sides of their mouth. It happens all the time. It's wrong. Wrong is wrong. Punish him. Boil him in oil when it's a woman. But when it's a man, oh, well, you know, he just attacking Cassie. He just hate women. You understand? And it's like, dude, the man is making sense if you're not thinking like a child. And a lot of these women out here, when they look at these things, they look at them like children. They're very emotional and they talk stupid, all kinds of stupid. I'm looking at the evidence. I've said from day one, why is Diddy on trial and not Cassie? She the one who paid for everything. The man said out of his own mouth, she's the one who facilitated the shit. She's the one who paid him. Might have been Diddy's money, might have been her money. She had her own money, but she paid him and she manipulated him. It's a longer version than that, but you know, he says there were threats. He says she was pregnant and aborted his child without his knowledge. I mean, this brother was bringing receipts and facts, you understand? And nobody's talking about it. Everybody, man, shut up. You just want some money. That bitch ain't just want some money. What are we talking about? You understand? Because my thing has always been, you know, because Cassie was ready to disappear after she got that check. They probably leaned on her a little bit and said, hey, you did some weird shit too. Don't make us come for you. You better help us get this big fish. You understand what I'm saying? And so maybe she cooperated. But I don't see what Cassie did as any different from what Diddy did. You know what I'm saying? And this brother actually makes sense when you listen to him. And I thought that was pretty damn explosive. There are some people who are talking about it, just not the usual suspects, and definitely not women. Women want to act like that shit never happened, like there is no case. What y'all got? Talk to me. Talk to me, man.
People don't understand that you have two things can be true. I don't know why we always got to look at it's either you fully guilty or you fully innocent. Two things can be true.
Facts.
You can be guilty on this and can be innocent on that. And she could be innocent in what went on with her and Diddy as far as, you know, how she got dealt with in that hallway that we saw. She could be the innocent victim on that part, but you can be the villain over here, what you did to this man.
Yeah.
It can be possible, but people, especially when it comes to women, they always want to victimize the woman and never see them as villains. You know, that's a big problem in society, because if you cover up or you shield women that exudes toxicity like that, bad behavior like that, they become not only powerful in their way because they feel like they're untouchable because they got this invisible force field over them, but also you destroy part of society because everybody they encounter, they're going to destroy. And that person might be your son. And I talked about that. Everybody will sit here and ride with people or ride with a narrative until it hits your home. Because if that young man was your son, you wouldn't be over here bashing the man the way you are on social media. You'll be bashing all the women like, fuck y'all, that's my son. And y'all sit here protecting the predator. That's what would come out your mouth instead of sitting there saying, oh, doing all of this thing and victim shaming that brother. So it's always when shit hits your front door, you have a different perspective. You should never wait till something hit your front door to have that perspective. You should have that perspective off rip. You should know the difference between right and wrong, holding somebody accountable for their bullshit. And we're not doing that on a fair level. You're actually, women that's out here shaming this man, you're actually doing the same thing white supremacists do, which is not holding their people accountable for their bullshit, but yet you sit back and let these people grow into bigger and bigger villains to the point where you can't control them anymore.
Right.
So just like how you're looking at how Puffy was a goofy dude that was allowed power and exuded his power and misbehavior onto people, it's the same power that Cassie wanted, and she got it. She got that power, and she was exuding that on other people beneath her. That's where all that stuff was coming out in the case about how she was setting up things, talking to people, how she was treating this man right here. She was becoming that powerful villain herself. The problem was she was under the umbrella of Puffy, who was a more powerful villain. So you never got to see her true villain because she was on a quote unquote leash, but she was getting up there. So we have to understand, like, right is right, wrong is wrong. Hold people accountable and stop looking at them in this villain light. I mean, in this victim light when they're really villains, and put them in their villain role where they need to be castrated as that villain. You know, and it's just a sad situation from this young man that he can't even get no money because everybody thinks that he's out for the money, but yet Cassie could go out there and get her extra share of the money. Because remember, through the whole time she was dealing with Diddy, she was getting paid for this stuff. So now she got an extra $25 million bag on top of that, and immunity from the people that really want to target and get rid of Puffy, right?
Just saying.
That's what people don't understand, and that's the sad part of reality. So if we want to clean up our society and we want to get what we need to get to of a base foundation or a base moral code, we have to hold people accountable that play their role in being destructive and toxic. And I land my plane on that.
Well said, Bobby Drake.
The brother's name from that video is Clayton Howard. That's the name of that brother, former escort. I I dropped it in the chat. I don't think I dropped it there soon enough, but it's worth going. If you take a look at the Art of Dialogues channel on Facebook, probably their YouTube as well if they have it, they actually have a interview where this brother goes in and actually details all the events that took place with that. And if you listen to this brother is lucid. He's very clear. Doesn't do a whole bunch of stumbling and ers and see what happens. No, the man is basically detailing as if as if it just happened yesterday, all kind of events and everything else that was going on, things that she said, that Diddy said, the things that they were interested in, and something else. And again, not giving the diddler any passes for anything, but he said something during that interview that was very interesting to me, and it shut off a box, because unfortunately that's something that is very common that women tend to do. And he mentioned that, he said now he's only speaking now based on his time there when he was present with the both of them. But he said there was a lot of situations that Cassie set up to be a shit starter with Diddy. One of the things he mentioned was that there were texts that she had at one point started text messaging him because they found out, at one point, once this went from being just a one-time thing to this was becoming a regular thing between them, they were starting to communicate. Naturally, you're intimate with a person like this. There's going to start being some level of a bond that develops. And this kind of picked up once he found out that he and Kathy both have the same birthday.
Yeah.
And so she started text messaging him, asking him questions, trying to find out more about him. And he just responded, whatever. And it was going back and forth. She was saying, hey, you want to link up outside of this? And he was like, well, I don't know. That's not what I'm getting paid to do, or whatever. And at some point, the next time they came together, Diddy hauled them in and started cussing them out, getting in his face, hemming them up like, hey, what's you talking about, girl? And he's like, the girl, she talking to me. Like, she told me to do a text there. And he basically trying to defend himself. And she was like, well, no, I was when that started texting me. He's like, hey, ain't gonna be no more of that. Y'all here for this when we swinging, nothing else. And so he made it clear he was pissed off about this. But guess what Cass gonna do later on? Still text the man.
Of course.
And so said she kept this up until he just refused to respond to her, and eventually she stopped. And then he said he noticed that the times now he did witness times when there was abuse where Diddy put his hands on Cassie. But here's the thing, and again, not justifying this, but context matters. The times when Diddy would go ahead and get physically violent with her in his presence, it was when she would go ahead and try to emasculate him in front of Dude. So, according to Dude, and I guess according to Cassie, Dude was very well endowed. Man got some kielbasa on him. Pause. Apparently, Diddy is not in the same tier. And so he said there would be times when, Diddy's on drugs and he'd be doing things with Cass that she liked and things that, dudes that size can get away with. Diddy would see that. He's like, well, I want to try that too. And he would try. And obviously he couldn't do it the way Clayton would. And she would make little jokes, little snide remarks or whatever. And he would pop her in the mouth for talking to him and disrespecting him that way.
Yeah.
It's okay. But again, so he said that this would be the kind of thing where she would make remarks or she would kind of say little things and he would shoot her a look. And basically she would keep on push the envelope until finally she got a response out of Diddy. So again, and you can listen to the interview for yourself, not try to justify it, but this lends the question. Cassie's trying to get money. We know that at the time of that incident on the video that she was trying to go ahead and go back on tour, and we all made jokes like,
yeah,
allows you to make a tour out of. Could it be, this is her ex, she knows him very well, could it be that she went over there to Diddy's and provoked him using a manner that she knows had a history of working on purpose to go ahead and get the action on camera to get the ball rolling, only to find that it didn't go anywhere because we know that Diddy uses power to get the video blocked from being released. So this should have been something that probably popped off a lot sooner, but it didn't because he happened to get in front of her. Could it be, again, that this was set up for her to go ahead and try to finesse Diddy?
Could be.
Again, speculation. But when you get the big picture, we get the context. And it's amazing how when women go and reveal these kind of details, action is taken immediately. But when men share this, we're not in it. So we're talking about the coloring of law and the weaponization of law, where now we're talking about legislation that's supposed to protect everybody, because men can be victims of sexual assault. Men deserve compensation. They deserve to see their victimizer go to prison as well too. But now we get it. We're now based on how the law is being applied and the context of society. We now see that apparently sexual assault is a crime that only women can be victims of, and only men can be held responsible for.
That's what it looked like. That's sure as hell what it looked like. There's no way that can be true, but that is where we're going. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, we this is the lesson everybody should be taking away from this, man. Guard your grill out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Guard your groins. You understand? Like, yo, people are out here really trying to set your ass up. It don't even have to be a specific gender. If you got some money behind you, if you got a career behind you, there's a reason that I put Diddy and Cassie on the flyer on one side and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell on the other side. They're the same animal. You understand? At the end of the day. And people have to understand that there's no such thing as a woman who's the type of woman that Cassie is, that participated in all these things over all these years in a willing participant capacity. That's a sweet, innocent little victim. And I'll just park that there. So listen, man, it just is what it is, bro. We got to start seeing stuff for what it is. We're going to move on to our illustrious crown check. We have this sister that I've been listening to for years. I'm going to try to get her on the show because she is phenomenal, dog. You know what I'm saying? Our good sister, Just Witty. She just got married. Check this out. Why is it not playing?
And this is some dating advice I will give my 30-year-old self. I know he just ghosted you. I know you don't know why. Your worth. Hold on. Just because they're attracted to you, don't mean they're interested in you. Attraction takes eyes. Interest takes effort. Guarding your heart doesn't mean locking it away. It means previewing with proper reciprocation. Your value is not based off of how they treated you. Your worth is not determined based off of your circumstance. I know it feels like it, but feelings are not truth. So process that. Don't just say that one. Process it, because your process is what's gonna show up. You good? Okay, this is the last one. Interest does not always mean intention. Someone can entertain you for months and have no regard for your future. That's when you go back to guard your heart. Make sure y'all on the same. You got this. I believe in you. Protect your hope. Like this. Love y'all.
She's silly as hell, boy. I really get a lot of joy when I watch that sister's videos. She is a decent, wholesome Christian sister. Make sure y'all, you know, of course we gonna be all right, but some of y'all knuckleheads out there, make sure when y'all go on y'all page, y'all don't go on there, you know, saying nothing reckless. You know what I'm saying? Even though most guys that watch this show are gentlemen, you know, some knuckleheads come here for a little counsel. Decent sister, very intelligent. You know, when she gives, one of the few women I can say when they give dating advice, they are spot on. They are intentional. They are deliberate. They know what they're talking about most of the time. Very solid sister. And of course, you know, to my understanding anyway, I chose her for today because she has exuded the persona of someone who has a lot of sexual discipline, because she talked about, you know, how she was saving herself for marriage. You know, she's been on the Dear Future Wifey podcast with that brother. I forget his name right now, but very thorough brother as well. Very funny, sister. And anytime you just want a nice feel-good moment and you want to see a sister who really carries herself in a regal capacity and really respects herself and reinforces those values within the community, and especially to women, that's a sister you need to check out. JUSTWHITI, Just Witty. Powerful sister. Love her to life. What y'all got, man? Close us out real quick.
She's married to D'Angelo Moss. I remember them on the Dear Wifey podcast. So D'Angelo Moss is her husband. Super dope dude. He's a super dope sister. I know who she is. I think I follow her, if I'm not mistaken.
If you don't, you should. Definitely. Powerful sister.
What platform
I follow her.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
IG.
definitely great crown check. Super dope sister, been following her. I love when women are out here giving solid advice. We have a lot of people giving some bullshit fucking advice. And we have some people that give advice, but yet they don't follow through with everything that they say. You know, Dr. Bryant. And we talk about sexual discipline. Dr. Bryant.
Disaster.
He had said something, and it's so crazy because you got pulled out by another dude who don't have no sexual discipline.
Paul Pierce. That was crazy.
And you let Paul Pierce embarrass you. That's how I know what you're doing is a fraudulent fraud. Like,
yeah, because Paul Pierce ain't heavyweight.
Yeah, some people had high hopes for you, but one thing you always can tell is like, let people talk. And that's why people always be like, hey, people should shut up. Nah, sometimes you got to let people talk. Because if you let people talk long enough, they'll show you exactly who they are. So she's over here not doing sexual discipline, and she's out here manipulating the younger man that she's giving herself to, and she wonder why she's not married. You're sitting here partaking with a part-time dude who, like Paul Pierce saying, you don't want to admit that the sex is good that got you backtracking for 5 years. So you don't sit here and say you looking to get married, because guess what? All it takes is one time for that dude to slip up and you pregnant. Who's to say that within the 5 years you didn't get pregnant and get rid of it?
That's true. Well, that's another show. We're gonna do that on the part two.
Yeah, we're gonna do it on another show.
She is foul.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to end it off with that. Sexual discipline, whether it's man or woman, you need to have it. You operate in a better realm, in a better spirit, and also you out there showing the direction of the world and society, what way we need to go in. If you're a woman, you talking about broken homes, stop displaying behavior that creates those broken homes. Thanks. Remember, at the end of the day, you are the one that have access. You give a man access to sex. Stop giving men access to sex that you shouldn't be giving access to sex with in the first place. And I'll land my plane on that.
Well said, Bobby Drake. Take us on real quick. Stop.
Big ups to that sister Just Witty. Look, at the end of the day, you have to understand that sex is for adults, but sex for adults because it comes with responsibilities. I know a lot of us like to go ahead and treat sex like it's a sport, like it's recreation. We have all kind of liberalities we like to take with it. But at the end of the day, sex is not a joke. Sex, let's keep it a stack. Sex feels good. That's why people do it. People don't do sex because it doesn't feel bad. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. It feels good. It feels great. It feels wonderful. It's amazing. It's a wonderful practice that we have that we're able to do with each other.
Mm-hmm.
There are responsibilities and obligations that come with that.
Yes.
Every time you have sex with someone, every time you seek sex with someone, you have to understand that you are initiating events that have the potential to completely change your life forever.
Yes.
For the better or for the worse. That's why children have no business having sex, because they don't have nearly enough life experience or comprehension to know what is they're getting in. And if we're honest, there's a lot of adults, some of them way in their years, that got no business having sex either. Let's be honest. There's some grown ass adults that got no business touching genitals with anybody else. Your life is a whole shit show, and here you are looking to go and crack open another septic tank on top of that. What the hell are we doing? So you need to understand that right now in 2025, possibly the biggest issue that is facing the average man and woman is sexual discipline.
Agreed.
There's many other things out there. I would argue, and you know what? I have a practice of taking controversial ideas or things that are suspect that I hear and not just dismissing them. I know a lot of people hear certain things and they'll just go, "That's rubbish," and just brush it off and dismiss it. I like to assert when the person that I'm hearing it from, this is why where you get your information matters.
Yeah.
When I hear someone who has shown themselves to have intelligence and sense say certain things that I don't like, that I don't agree with, that sound out there, I don't take everything they say and listen to it. But some things that prick my ears a certain way, I'll take it and I'll store it in a time capsule.
Okay.
And I'll just, because there's three things that can't be hid for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And I will sit back and I'll watch that time capsule and I'll see the days, the seasons change. And I want to see if what this person is saying, if it stands the test of time so far. My brother Victor Van Zandt said something when I first came to the knowledge, when I first bumped into him. He said that his belief is that sexual discipline is more impactful for Black people than racism. When I heard that, I'm like, you outside your rabbit ass mind. Like,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, this sound like some Sambo messaging going on. I don't know, it sounds like you're trying to take the heat off of white supremacy. But I sat back and I listened and I watched, and current events been so good with this. And I can't help but see all the people. I'm definitely seeing racism impact our lives and how we move. But I can't stop seeing around me in my day-to-day life, people I know of, stories I'm hearing randomly, current events, all the issues popping off in people's lives for the worse that are a result of not having sexual discipline.
That's true.
And
he might be onto something.
And I'm still not ready to jump over the fence just yet. I'm still not ready just yet.
He might be onto something. We gonna come back to that. That's heavy.
But the fence is here, and I was over here when I first heard it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm probably here right now.
Yeah, it's heavy.
I'm getting close.
It's a conversation. We're gonna come back to that. Okay.
So right now, the biggest way that you can affect your quality of life and further determine what the trajectory and what the result of your life is going to be right now, probably, is your sexual discipline.
Agreed.
How you see sex, how you view sex, how you have sex, all the circumstances involving sex right now. You want to hack your life? Look at your sexual practices and your mindset and make some tweaks. We want to thank y'all for kicking with us for another week. We're terribly sorry about the technical difficulties we had. I think we still had a good show. I think we still got some good juice out the orange, out the fruit. But we promise we're going to have it ironed out next week. Next week, my brother Anthony Malcolm, he's gone ahead and found a top-notch guest. We're going to bring them on the stage. We're going to share what they have to give to us. And we're going to have some good dialogue, as we always do, with an extra face on the roster. Please make sure you like, hit, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you pass the word. Hit the bell icon for notifications. Make sure you spread the word. All our family on all different platforms kicking it with us. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This guy over here, that's Anthony Malcolm. Right beneath me, that's Major Gage.
Yep.
I'm Bobby Drake, and when we combine, we are Manversations 2020.
Yep.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know
there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.